Hello everybody and welcome to another Transformers third party review. Thanks to the guys over at Robot Kingdom. Today I'm taking a look at DX9's Hulkie, aka the Constructicons or Buildrons. This is their interpretation of the 6 Constructicons that combine to form the mighty Devastator. Now we have Scrapper, Hook, Bone Crusher, Scavenger, Long Haul and Mixmaster. They do all come with individual weapons. Unfortunately, I don't get any instruction manuals, so I have to Scooby-Doo whose weapons who. So I've just armed them to the teeth with the guns that come provided. These latest offerings from DX9 are part of their War in Pocket series, a series aimed directly at the Legends scale figures, bringing high detail to a small figure, and they've done an amazing job. I am actually genuinely amazed at the high levels of detailing on these figures. I mean, just look at that face sculpt. That is a face only a mother could love. Very, very good paint applications, and bear in mind this is only a pre-production sample. It's not even final yet. The guns are pretty well detailed as well. It feels extremely robust. Plastic wise, it feels heavier than what we get with the official Takara and Hasbro Legends. The only other counterparts I've had to compare these to are the Shapeshift figures, which do feel very, very similar, and the Iron Factory figures, which in my opinion, the plastic on these is far superior. It doesn't have that kind of chalky feel to it. Scavenger, in my opinion, has the best sculpt by far. That is an amazing animation resemblance there. He looks incredible. Gorgeous colours on these as well. The silver really pops, and that green, it's almost radioactive. Now the articulation on these guys does literally differ dependent on the figure itself, because they transform into a combined robot as well, and they're only legend size. We don't get as much as what we're used to with our regular DX9 figures. We do still get full range in the arms, we get balls at the elbows. The fists, of course, are locked into place. There doesn't appear to be much on any of the waists, really. The legs do go up, bend at the knee, full rotation at the knee, go back, they go out. We have some up and down motion on the feet. Whereas if we look at Long Haul, he doesn't have anything at the knee at all. It actually bends sideways at the knee due to him being the torso, but his head does rotate. So there's an additional point of articulation there. In his slightly more hindered by his back kibble sections. Pretty much the straightforward arms. These arms are pretty much carried out throughout this entire lineup. Nothing on the feet though. Again, Scrapper has the same articulation on the arms. Nice range on those sides. Really nice high thigh rotation as well. Nice bend at the knee. We do have pivot on his toes. The head is locked into position. It's the lack of head rotation, I think, that bothers me the most. Yeah, Long Haul has it, but the only one I can see why he shouldn't have it is Mixmaster, because his head is encased in this back section here. I would have liked it on the others, but knowing that they combine, knowing that they transform, and knowing they are only small Legends figures, I have to let it slide. I hate, with a passion, Mixmaster's feet though. They just kind of flip down. You have to kind of balance it, so you have to bring his knees forward for him to kind of stand upright. I don't like them. I don't like them at all. You can flip those back and just have them flat. But then it just looks like he's standing on his cab. I am genuinely impressed by the levels of detailing on these. They do look like cracking figures. And is it an indication that the X9 are going to give us something similar in a masterpiece scale? Who knows? I mean, everybody else has given us a Devastator, haven't they? As you can see, these two do have very obvious fists attached to the back. They can just come untabbed. I just like to have them on there just so I don't lose the fists. I mean, to be honest with you, he's going to be stored in Devastator mode. But again, I really like these bot modes. It could be a matter of me buying a second one. The vehicle modes are okay, I'll get to those shortly. But the bot modes I really like, and Devastator, it's awesome. Transformations for these guys are pretty straightforward, but by no means boring. They're very smooth, effective, and they really do look the part once transformed. There's a lot more involved than what we're used to with the standard Legends figures, which is actually a really nice change. You kind of get these figures thinking, oh, they're going to be really boring, they're going to be just fold over the tops, like Starscream, for example. The Hasbro version of that is literally just fold in half, and I just didn't think much of it. But with these, there's more involved. Things move, things hide, and that's kind of what we expect from at least a deluxe scale figure. I mean, just look at that for an alt mode. That's fantastic. I mean, a majority of the time, once you've done one, you can kind of do them all. They are very similar. It's just a matter of like folding the legs at this waist section, bringing that entire section down to the base there, sorting out the legs, straightening those out, and tabbing them in on either side. Again, with this side, swing it round so it's level, bring that round, and tab that in. It's basically just a matter of getting the arms in the right position. Like this one, for example, you rotate it round, swing it in, and there's a tab on the underside here. That's just going to tab in on the front there, and then we just lift this up and square everything up. Mixmaster is probably one of the very easiest. It's a matter of rotating the arms around, sliding them up and up, flip the guns up. You've got this tab here that's going to fold up and tab into the back. Same with this side, just fold the arm up and tab that in. And unfortunately, we've got the very predictable flip your legs over job. Flip your legs over, tab those together like so. Flip down, and there we have a mix truck. Now, Scrapper's transformation actually took me by surprise. There's actually a lot more involved than I thought. For starters, you pull up his chest. You can slide the arms down into the slot, and there is a peg on either side. You won't be able to reach it until the chest is fully lifted, and then you can just compress those arms in, tabbing them in either side. The most difficult part of this is getting this perfectly straight so it slides into this chest section. There's very, very little clearance at all. Anyway, they are plugged in. You go to bend the leg so it comes up and over. You'll notice the toes are actually on a slider, so we can rotate that section around. So when we come up and over, they'll meet in the middle. So let's do the same with this side. Move the excavator kind of section to the front here. Move this section up. Rotate that round. Bring this over and through. And then tab everything in together. Glorious. Again, Hook is quite straightforward. You do have a tendency of popping his arm joints off though, because this entire shoulder section swivels upwards, but it's super tight. Are they going to change that for the final design? Possibly. Couldn't tell you for certain, but it's probably more than likely. Rotate the arms up, bend it round, and you're going to flip the arm back on itself so it tabs in nicely onto the top. You want to fold the legs back over and square them off. Let's do the same with this side, supporting the ball jointed shoulder, otherwise it pops off. Rotate it round, Make sure that's on fully. See what I mean? It does have that tendency to pop off. The resistance isn't quite perfected yet, I don't think. And just flip the rest of the cab section around and tab that together. And there we have him. Looks like a Matchbox toy, doesn't it? And finally we get to long haul. He's got a pretty nice transformation again. Rotate the head because we can rotate it. And just pop that back into the body. Move these shoulder sections out. And they are going to come up and over like so. You want those up to that position. Again, come round. So we're going to go up and over. Push it into the middle. Push it into the middle. Open the legs, bring this section down. These sections here, fold the wheels out. They're going to fold up on themselves, and as you bring them over, there's a little section here that we can bring up. Open the torso and extend it out. Bring the leg over, and as we bring it over, it's going to just sit and tab into the top of that arm. So do the same with this side. Bring this section up and over, and as this section comes over, there's a slot here, hole here, that's going to come up, over, and tab into the top. Compress these sections together. Not entirely sure what to do with the back section here. What I've been doing, I've been flipping it down, flipping those up, and just plugging it in the back there so it's clear of the wheels. Again, transforming this without instructions is actually easier said than done, but that looks like a pretty sturdy vehicle in my opinion. Scale-wise, I think they work remarkably well with the other figures on the market. And finally, transformation into Devastator is pretty straightforward. I want to extend this section here. That's going to come out, that's going to come up, and that's going to sit on top, and we now have a leg. This one is even easier. Collapse this section down, fold the digger down. We have a second leg. Again, like the legs, the arms are pretty straightforward. Come to the underside, untab it, pull this section out, extend it fully. So this section is now square, and you can then bring the tracks back in, securing that into place. You can then rotate the forearm and then bring in your appropriate fist. Same with this side. Untab, untab, fold down, fully square, fold that back, fold that back. You can then rotate the forearm and bring in the fist. For the lower part of the torso, you want to fold this section back, extend the legs, separate them and bring them down. Rather than moving this torso section back now though, we can actually keep it at the front. So collapse this section back down, like so. There's a tab now there and a tab just under there. That's going to tab in together, like so. Split the legs, move this crotch section up to the front. That's going to form Devastator's waist section. Make sure these wheels are unfolded. But this side here, that was super tight. You want to get a screwdriver or something in there just to flip that out. Flip the wheels back in, straighten out the thighs and bend those knee sections. Make sure his arms are up there, folded to the back with this section in the middle. You've then got a section here that's going to tab in, and this is going to tab in to form the upper torso of Devastator. Last but not least, lift this section up, bring that all the way up, undo the arms, they're currently tabbed in, move that up, bring those out of the way so we can get the head for Devastator up like so. You want to bring these arms back and down, rotate the head, split these sections, and they're going to hinge all the way around, and then rotate each hinge on to the sides. There's a tab just on each side. Rotate and tab that into place. This is going to form the chest shield. And if you look underneath here, this section here is going to tab into this post here. You then want to rotate this section to fill in that gap there. That's now going to tab into this hole here. You can then split this front section, open that up and up, fold these ones down and down, and there's actually a tab on either side to tab that in and secure it into place like so. Now we can start putting it together. So let's line everything up. That tab goes in this hole here. Make sure everything is square, which is easier said than done. Unfortunately, these tabs don't necessarily want to work as well as you'd hope. Come on. These don't actually tab into the bots themselves, and these just sit loose at the back here, so they do have a tendency to move, which is no good when trying to tab it in together. Come on. Right, that's the front. Let's square this section up so it will tab in, line it up. That one's semi-lined up, is it? Not even remotely. There, that one's lined up. That one's lined up. So I should not be having to put this much force to get these in. I'm assuming it's just because they're pre-production and not just a pain in the backside. It does not want to go in the front there. Oh, there we go, that's in. Right, let's tab these back in. One and two. Come round to the legs. They do only go one way. Circle goes to circle. Fine, if you give it a little twist, it will stop it pinging back like that. Just a matter of, again, lining it up and hoping for the best, really. The joint does tend to move a lot, but once it's in, it's in. This side, a little bit different. You do have to just split the back side, and then you can just slide that joint in. Much easier connection, in my opinion. Very much the same as what we got with the bigger combiners. If you look at the inside of each of these arms, they have this hinge that can come out. I find the best way of doing that is to put your finger in behind it and then line the plug up and tab that in. Stops it collapsing down. So let's do the same with this side. Let's bring the hinge out. Put your finger in behind it and then line that up and tab that into place. Here he is in all his glory, and I mean glory. He looks fabulous. What a stunning little figure. The gun is naff. The mechanism they've used for keeping it in the hand is pretty pants. It slots in to the hand, absolutely lovely, look, not going anywhere. As soon as you start to close the fingers, the slots are actually behind this finger joint. So as you close the fingers, it actually pops the peg out of the fist, so it doesn't then sit very well in the hand, thus resulting in wobbly gun syndrome. Devi also conveniently comes with a iron girder, which has these random holes throughout it, which just so happen to fit the guns in. What a remarkable coincidence. Wobbly gun syndrome aside, Hulkie looks fantastic, doesn't he? Look at that for scale. It's a real achievement from DX9. I wasn't expecting the Devastator mode to be as good as it is. I didn't expect it to have half the articulation that it does. They've done a very good job. He's a very sturdy, well-balanced figure. The head sculpt is really nice. Very Giant-esque, in my opinion. The head looks up and down, thankfully, all the way left and right. The arms can rotate all the way around. They can go up and down. If we come to the elbow, we do have rotation at the elbow. We do have a bend. Doesn't bend all the way forwards. It is kind of hindered slightly by these treads, which is a bit of a shame. You can kind of bend the arm backwards a little bit, so you could kind of rotate it round. So you do get more of an elbow there, but then I don't like the hollow section at the front there. But there is room for scope if you kind of bend it off to the side. The wrists do rotate quite freely. The thumb is on a ball. The fingers are all pinned together, but the trigger finger is separate. You can see the individual holes in there that I was talking about that the gun slots into. And as you move the fingers in and out, this section moves and it pops the gun out, which is a shame. The waist does not rotate, unfortunately, but we do have a nice amount of play in the legs. We can move these skirts upwards, like so, which gives us a nice range of movement forwards, freedom backwards. We can come out to this side, so we can get a nice high kick there. The knees rotate, and they do bend thus far. Not amazing, but it's a bend nonetheless. Same with this side, so we can get a fairly dynamic running pose going on there. The feet kind of rotate and hinge, depending on the articulation on the individual Constructicons, but you can get a pretty wide, well-balanced stance just by tilting those feet. So there we have it. Hulkie is a very good all-round figure. There are some nitpicks. I would have liked slightly more articulation on the heads of the individual bots. I would have liked a waist rotation on Hulkie himself, but limitations are limitations. At the end of the day, they've given us 3 very strong modes, and it's all at Legends scale. I think they've honestly done a remarkable job. Detailing in Devastator mode is impeccable. He looks fantastic. Yes, the hands are flawed. They do not want to hold that gun. Maybe I'm doing something wrong. I don't know. Maybe it's something they will change for the final version. I hope so. But all in all, it's a ruddy good combiner. And I'm definitely going to be dipping into more of the War in Pocket line. They seem like a remarkable value for money purchase. Thanks again to the guys over at Robot Kingdom for letting me have an early look at Hulkie. And until next time, from myself and the Constructicons, goodbye.